You were able to get away with a sample of element 115. How much did you get away with?
No comment.
Right, this video was recorded on a door camera.
The US government just released, apparently by accident, the Project Aqua stuff.
Hey baby cakes, I got a couple of UFO videos, and I might even have some kind of explanation of what these really are.
I'm fucked up.
He was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now Sean David Morton also heard. I can't verify this for.
This is extremely creepy if you've never seen it before, and frankly, even if you have.
Hello, and welcome back to Covert Connections. Today, we have some clips of UFOs, all shapes and sizes. And pay attention to the end because I have a special clip. And surprisingly, I could not find a lot of information about this. But I'll show you guys that at the end, and you let me know what you think. But let's get into it. Oh, look at that, eh? This is an older clip, right? And it almost looks like, you'll see in a second, it's a disc that's come down like this at an angle, right? And looks like collided with the ground. Look at the detail in that, eh? I'm just wondering how long it was there for. I can't find too much information about this, but this looks legit.
You were able to get away with a sample of element 115. How much did you get away with?
No comment.
Nighttime test flights, unofficial.
So just to let everyone know, element 115, if you don't know Bob Lazar, it was basically supposed to be the material that powered the UFOs that he was working on. All UFOs, apparently, element 113, and he took some away before he got fired from Area 51.
While off the base, what did you see?
The test flights I saw off the base, actually the best test flight was witnessed by my friends who I had brought out there. At the exact moment the craft was hopping around and doing some really impressive maneuvers, I had turned around and I think was looking for the video camera or something to that effect, but I missed some of the most impressive maneuvers. But the craft was similar to what was done before that I had seen close up, other than the fact that it went above the mountain range, moved a much greater distance at a much higher rate of speed.
How were you able to find out about the test flight schedules?
The test flight schedules were told to me specifically because I was probably going to have to be present during those times. And at that time, the test flights were taking place on.
So he was working on the propulsion systems, apparently, at this lab. At Area 51, S4. And he was given on all the test schedules, and he has lots of footage of the actual craft in flight. This is what you're seeing now.
Wednesday nights. And from what they said, that was because that was statistically the least amount of traffic in the area. And that's all that they were concerned about.
Does the propulsion system release any sort of discharge or exhaust?
There was a high voltage discharge on the bottom of the craft, but as far as there being an exhaust, there was none.
Why did they appear as glowing balls of light in the night sky?
Well, that's kind of the same reason why a neon light or a fluorescent light lights up. What you're dealing with is a high energy source in essentially a gas atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen. And when you apply enough energy to a gas molecule, they emit photons. They emit light. And I don't think it's anything. It's really a byproduct of how the craft operates. When it's emitting that much energy, the gas surrounding the craft emits light. The same reason why lightning is visible. You have a huge electrical discharge, and the gas emits light in the form of lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to see one of these crafts at night operating, it would appear really as a glowing ball or just a bright light in the sky from a distance. Even close up, you'd see a glowing halo around it. This is typically what you'd see in your normal UFO sighting, if you've heard them a lot. However, keep in mind that lights in the sky are caused by much more common things than flying saucers.
Tell us a little more about.
See, I like how he doesn't necessarily come out and say, yeah, these are alien saucers. He's a very mellow kind of guy, right? And he only wants to tell what he knows. He won't go into anything specific unless he knows it or has worked on it, right?
About the aurora you witnessed taking off out of Area 51.
It was a large craft, and the one glimpse I got of it was from the rear, and it had two huge square exhausts with vanes in them. And it was it sounded more like a rocket than a jet. I don't know. I even think he did mention that it was liquid methane powered, but there again, working on the DIS technology, I really could care less what was rolling around at Area 51, but it did catch my eye.
As a result of going public, have there been any attempts made on your life?
One day when I was getting on Interstate 15, driving down Charleston Boulevard, a car came up alongside of me, and I thought he was just trying to race me to get on the freeway. This was after I had left the project. It was a white, boxy-looking car. Exactly what make and model, I don't know. But I accelerated to get on the freeway to go fast, and there was a gunshot, and the back of the car was hit, and I skidded off into the median. And I stopped,
to kill
and
him.
I was frightened, and I just stood there because I thought the guy was going to be alongside of me and just shoot me. I had nothing to do. I was essentially paralyzed with fear, and I waited there, and then nothing else happened. And do I know it was a government agent trying to kill me? No. Could it have been a drive-by shooting? Maybe. Wasn't it? I mean, it was an attempt on my life, but by who specifically, I don't know. Though I was threatened before I had left, that they threatened my wife's life and my life. So I can only put two and two together and say that they were kind of pissed at me.
In an earlier interview, you had mentioned that they had put a gun to your head. Tell us about that.
That was after we were caught out when I had the test flight schedule, and I brought some friends out to show them the DIS test. We got caught out there, and the following day I was debriefed down at Indian Springs Air Force Base. I was in the room with the security guards that caught us, my supervisor, and some other people, and some other security personnel. Yeah, they were essentially grilling me about security and, how could I possibly bring people out there? And I guess I wasn't as responsive as they would like, and they got in my face, and one of them pulled a sidearm out, just pushed it against me.
Have you maintained any contacts with your colleagues out at S4?
No, I never heard from anyone other than for a very brief time after I left. Dennis, who was my supervisor, did try and make contact with me at the meeting place was the Union Plaza Hotel. And I took a friend of mine, Gene Huff, down there, and another friend, a former colleague and scientist from Los Alamos. And we saw him, but I also did recognize some security personnel walking around there from S4. So whether or not it was a setup or what was going on or was trying to talk to me, we never found out, and we left. It just was a real strange situation. I never heard from him since.
An interesting thing that he also mentions there is the craft will glow, and not every single one, but most of the footage I've ever seen of a UFO, the craft is always illuminated very brightly, especially at the bottom. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right. This video was recorded on a door camera. And the funny fact about this, I believe it is 100% true because I've seen a similar object about 5 years ago. It wasn't at the same speed. It was just floating. But
The U.S. government just released, apparently by accident, the Project Aqua stuff. Did you see this?
No. What's that? Retrieving data across dimensional space-time, develop remote viewing comms and countermeasures, determine baseline for physical transport across dimensional space-time barrier, rapid response medical teams for UFO interaction events. So how did they do this accidentally? Study conscious interactions with and control of technology.
So I got this from someone in the U.S. government who's well, look. Let me just start by saying I don't know anything, but he sent me this. The above is 100% legit. I was read into this program but told never to tell anyone. It's now been released. As you can see, it began as a result of my old program, AATIP.
ATIP.
I signed a document saying I would never talk about Conan Blue and similar efforts. I can't believe that AARO would have released it. Look,
Yeah.
I mean, here's what we do know is that there's enough going on in the skies, but not just the skies, underwater, that the U.S. military has been forced to respond to it. So, like, move aircraft from one place to another because there are too many of these objects in the sky. That's actually happened. Chris Mellon just wrote a long piece about it. So it's real. The government is not controlling it. In fact, it's forcing the government DOD to respond. And we know that there is a real effort and has been underway for a long time to keep the public from knowing about it. But that's all known. That's established. I don't think any rational person would deny that. The question is, like, what is it actually? I mean, now is sort of the point where you have to ask, like, what is this?
So there's Project Blue Book, which I believe is recovery of downed alien craft. There's Project Blue Beam, which is supposedly holograms projected. They're not real. And then now there's Conan Blue, which was just released. And if you want to see a really interesting piece on that, there's another content creator named Casper Site. He does an amazing piece on it. If you want to go see more than that, go to his channel and look for that. It'll be there. But that's crazy that they're releasing all this information now. And I mean, we should know about it. But anyways. So I looked up Conan Blue right here, program from the interviews conducted as a part of historical review. Multiple interviewees identified Conan Blue as a Department of Homeland Security sensitive compartment established to protect the retrieval and exploration of non-human biologics. I'm pretty sure David Grush said this. I'm pretty sure this is part of what he was saying. AARO research and information provided by the interviewees and learned Conan Blue was a prospective special access program that had been proposed to DHS leadership but was never approved or formally established. Conan Blue never received any materials or funding, and there is no information beyond the proposal presentation marked with the Conan Blue name. See, that's weird because I heard somewhere else that they threw millions at that. Yeah, Project Blue Book and Project Blue Beam. Right. So I don't know. Let me know down below what you guys think about this.
Baby cakes, I got a couple of UFO videos, and I might even have some kind of explanation of what these really are. After you see this, I'll tell you what I think.
It looks like no, this is
that vehicle that was recorded over California could very well be the rumored military craft, the TR-3B, which has been talked about for over 20 years. There's even a patent for a craft that looks like that. Let me show you another UFO video from Italy that looks almost exactly the same. Like I said, this was spotted over Italy, and this video is slowed down so we can see it a little better. Doesn't that look similar to the UFO in the first video or the images we have of the TR-3B.
Yep.
There are literally dozens, if not hundreds, of pictures that everyday people have taken of vehicles that look just like this from all corners of the world, Booshkies. So while these are definitely UFOs, unidentified flying objects, what do you think? Do you think they're extraterrestrial or they're man-made? Shabadoo, Booshkies! Shabadoo!
So the TR-3B, if you guys don't know, is government-made, apparently, and it was reverse engineered. Sorry, it was made from reverse engineered UFO craft. So if you didn't know that, there you go.
I'm fucked up. I'm fucked up. Timmy, you ain't fucked up. But that shit's getting awfully close to the moon.
That's the moon right there. And that's what he's talking about.
Our fucked is fucked up. Our government is fucked up.
Whoa!
What? Bam! What did it just hit? Look at it. Look at the fucking smoke rings. Are you fucking shitting me? I'm a drunk ass redneck.
This guy's
Videoing some
commentary is
fucking
hilarious.
shit. Like, what in the fuck is that? There's the fucking moon. This bullshit just sent a fucking shockwave. What the?
Was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard.
So this apparently is the alien interview at Area 51 that someone sneaked out and he gave to a reporter, and I can't remember who that was. My mind's just fogging up today. Oh, and by the way, the last video, if you thought that was SpaceX, is that supposed to be a rocket? If people are saying that's SpaceX, because why wouldn't you don't hear anything at all? Like you think you'd hear a rocket from that far away, right?
Can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, and I don't doubt it.
Telepath?
I've seen the outline of the figure.
Is that what he said? Hold on. Sorry.
Monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths.
2 telepaths.
There is a researcher out there, and I don't doubt it. And because I've seen the outline of the figure, and I didn't catch this, and someone else did, so I'm crediting them. I don't ever want to not credit other people. That Colin Powell was in that interview room. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I can't verify it, but it certainly looks like the outline of them. It looks like an African-American male in his 50s wearing an Army Class A dress uniform.
Colin Powell.
The Rear Admiral that was on my list was the person that reported intelligence to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Interesting. But that's how bizarre this film has gone. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was 2 men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room. As you can see on the tape, the being eventually starts to medically flag, if I can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I have been in contact. I have the names of the 2 doctors that are going to be on either side of this being. On the bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Doty, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this being in the 2-hour-long interview. The interviews are conducted about once a month.
If this is real, I feel really bad for what they're doing here to this being.
There is a second angle from that clip, but let me explain the backstory here. On March 6th of 2013, 2 marine geologists that were part of NOAA were doing a deep-sea research expedition off the coast of Greenland. During this, they capture what can only be described as a mermaid, or in mythological folklore, a siren.
Oh. You do see something strike the window, and it's a hand, right? Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can just get this here. It's gonna be freaking. Oh, see, look at that, look at that, look at that. Right there. And you see a face just right there. Look at that webbing, and it swims away at incredible speed.
Zooming in on the last frame of that second clip, we can see something that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, see, look at that. Look at that.
It is not completely out of the question that something like this could exist. Over 80% of the ocean is still vastly unexplored.
Yeah,
sightings like this happen fairly frequently. However, most of the time, none of it can really be captured, but sometimes even fishing boats capture something pretty incredible.
That's crazy.
However, I'll leave that up to you to decide whether you believe it.
I've seen that clip before.
So my mother was showing me that she opened a banana that she thinks that these are not real bananas. We got it from the supermarket, but when she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets like very tough and doesn't really break.
What the hell is that?
When it pulls, it's like it's glue. It's very tight and doughy. I've never ever seen a banana like that. I don't know if it's just our banana or if it's this brand
From Costco.
from Costco, but at the end of the day, it looks very, very fake and Play-Doh-y. Does anyone else know what happened?
Has anyone else seen a banana like that? Because I've never, every banana I've ever opened was, easily broken in half or really, really mushy. That does not look like a banana. But again, let me know what you guys think down below.
Extremely creepy if you've never seen it before, and frankly, even if you have. In a moment, this is going to start cycling through a bunch of unaltered celebrity photos, but you're going to keep your eyes focused right here in the very middle on this cross. Again, this only works if you keep your eyes focused on the middle at the cross. And what will happen is you will start to see strange distortions on these faces in your peripheral vision. They will start to look monstrous, or they will look like cartoonish caricatures with features that are exaggerated, with big eyes or big jaws or big mouths. Some of you think this is a trick and that these images are distorted, but if you go back and watch it again, you will see they are only distorted in your peripheral vision. If you stop and look at the individual images, they're normal.
That's insane.
That is called the flashed face distortion effect, and we actually don't know how it works. The video was made by Tangent Cognitive Labs, and it went viral a long time ago. Obviously, it has something to do with the fact that your peripheral vision is imperfect and your brain is trying to fill in details. And they've done follow-up experiments showing that it doesn't just work with faces. But as for why the brain processes these faces as cartoonish and distorted versus just making them blurry, to this day, nobody's really sure.
All right, here I'm just going to show you a clip of something that I wanted to put in this video. I don't know if you guys will be interested in it. It's very short, but I found out that this is very weird because I'm talking about 10 years ago. This information was available on YouTube. I don't know about TikTok. I wasn't really on TikTok back then, but it was available on the internet because I looked and looked for it, and I could only find a small amount of information about this, which was very, very odd considering it was, Ancient Aliens. It was on there, but I can't even find the episode where Ancient Aliens talked about it. And it would be Autek, right? So I'll show you the clip, and then you guys let me know if you want me to dig deeper into this and try to find out what's going on over there. But I typed into YouTube, TikTok, Google, everything, and I could only find, the only thing I found was a sushi robot, which was weird. But anyways, I'll show it to you.
We're in the Bahamas now, investigating a UFO connection around a real American military installation called AUTEC. AUTEC stands for the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center. It was opened in 1967. It's on Andros Island, a remote location in the Bahamas. It sits on what's called the tongue of the ocean. This is a deep ocean basin that's roughly 110 nautical miles long, 20 nautical miles wide, and reaches depths of 6,000 feet. It's a perfect spot for testing new top-secret weapons, submarines, and other exotic underwater craft. Is it a coincidence that ever since AUTEC was constructed, UFO and USO reports in the area have skyrocketed? And it's even stranger that AUTEC happens to be located on the cusp of the Bermuda Triangle.
I don't know. You guys tell me back then, because I remember seeing full-on episodes about this underground or underwater base where there was a giant chain, attached, and they were like, what the heck is that? I could be mistaken, but if you guys remember seeing this, please let me know so I'm not crazy. And do your own research and let me know. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you do enjoy the videos and you want to see more content like this, please leave a like down below and subscribe. Anyways, guys, take care. I'll see you all. Peace.